Sometimes the tears we cry in private feel like wasted sorrow. The heartbreak, the betrayal, the closed doors, the failures, they feel so final. You look up to heaven and ask, God, why did you allow this to happen? But child of God, what you don't realize is that what made you cry today might be the very thing God will use tomorrow to elevate you, transform you, and bless others through you. The pain that broke you will become the story that builds someone else. Don't rush to dry those tears, they are watering the seeds of purpose. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Romans 8 verse 28. God doesn't waste pain. That rejection you're crying over? It's divine redirection. That loss that took your sleep away? It's making space for something eternal. Look at Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, wrongly imprisoned. If you saw him weeping in that prison, you might have thought his story ended there. But that prison was only a hallway to the palace. Genesis 50 verse 20 says, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." You see, Joseph's tears didn't disqualify him. They prepared him. They humbled him. They brought him into total dependence on God. So don't let the enemy lie to you and say, your tears are weakness. No, they are surrender. And what you surrender to God, He multiplies for purpose. Moses was a man with a stutter running from his past. But it was through that pain, through those insecurities and cries in the desert, that God raised up a deliverer. Exodus 3 verse 11. But Moses said to God, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt?" He was broken, but God still called him. Why? Because brokenness in the hands of God becomes power. Hannah cried bitterly before the Lord because of her barrenness. She was mocked, misunderstood, and miserable. But it was her tears that caught heaven's attention. Her cry wasn't a sign of defeat, it was a prophetic sound. God used those very tears to bring forth a prophet, Samuel, one of the greatest voices in Israel. 1 Samuel 1 verse 10 says, "In her deep anguish Hannah prayed to the Lord, weeping bitterly. And not long after, she held her miracle in her arms." Conflict always arises when you're too close to purpose to quit. The enemy doesn't fight what doesn't threaten him. Your tears are not a sign that God left you. They are a sign that you're carrying something spiritual, something bigger than you. That's why the pressure has been unbearable. That's why you feel forgotten. But you are not. God is silently writing the next chapter with the ink of your suffering. Look at Jesus at the cross. From a human point of view, it looked like defeat. The people cried. The disciples scattered. Darkness covered the land. But that brutal, bleeding moment, the one that made the earth weep, became the door to salvation for all mankind. Isaiah 53 verses 3 to 5 says, "He was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain. But He was pierced for our transgressions, and by His wounds we are healed." What made them cry became what healed us. So yes, cry if you must. But know this, those tears are not in vain. God bottles every one. Psalm 56 verse 8, "You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book." Every tear is a testimony in the making. You're crying over something God is about to use as your ministry, your platform, your breakthrough. Don't give up. Don't stop praying. Don't stop believing. Your tears are telling a story, and God is the author. And when He finishes, even your enemies will have to say, "The Lord has done great things for them." Psalm 126 verses 5 to 6 says, "Those who sow with tears will reap with songs of joy. Those who go out weeping, carrying seed to sow, will return with songs of joy, carrying sheaves with them." You're not just weeping, you're sowing. And your harvest is on the way. God will use your tears. He will use your pain. He will use your brokenness. Because He is the only one who can take ashes and turn them into beauty. Hold on. Heaven is working behind the scenes. Your tears are not the end, they are the beginning of glory.